Alright, man, we back with another motherfucker, bro. Hold on, before I get started, this bitch is already froze. So let me fix that. Let me fix that, man. Let me go ahead and make sure this shit doing what it needs to. Make sure, cause I've been re-recording like a motherfucker. I get tired of re-recording these shits, bro. Y'all know I'm new at this shit. Y'all know why I'm here. 1v1 upload challenge for my little brother who wants to be a content creator. He's sitting on content. Nigga natural at this shit. He good at the shit. He just ain't on the shit, man. Being lazy. So I upload a video. He gotta match me. And I've been on the motherfucking roll. So I ain't stopping, nigga. I done figured out how to do shorts, YouTube shorts and all of that shit too. Using Opus Clip and Chat GPT. And then my little assistants. If y'all know any software for stitching videos together, because I'm not an editor, bro. I fucking hate editing videos. I like going through content, but editing content, fuck no. Even my photography and shit, like I like shooting it, going through, finding like a good set of photos for my client or for whatever I'm doing. But like editing photos, that's not my favorite part. I'm a curator, man. That's it. I'm a curator, bro. I'm not an editor. But yeah, man, y'all like, comment, subscribe. How to confidently flirt with women. This is 3 principles. I think it's coming from a dating coach. I've seen him on YouTube a few times. Chris Williamson is one of my favorite content creators. Super professional. Actually, he's the reason why I thought about doing like interviews via like FaceTime or like Zoom or some shit, because his quality still be good as hell, although it's done. Make sure I be speaking shit up. Although it's done remotely, his shit still is engaging. Like how he chops his shit up is still nice, and the quality of his shit is just crazy. So let's get into it, man.
What are the principles of men communicating attractively to women?
So we have broken down the flirting process. Let's see if I can do this. It's been a long time since I've had to get out there and do this. The first piece is...
That's kind of a red flag, I ain't gonna lie. Because, I mean, we still got people like AMS, Taekwondo, Prime Time. Shit, Duke still be dropping game for real. Like, even though he ain't, like, specifically dropping content around that. I think he did one video where he was, like, teaching niggas how to raise and shit like that. Like, the process of having a clean space, making sure your space smell good, making sure you smell good, you look good. But, you know, not being in it, this shit kind of different now. But this shit change every, like, 3 to 6 months, bro. Like, women be on some other shit every few months, it feel like. But, you know, the basics are really the basics. As long as you know that shit, you should be good. So he been doing this long enough. I can't remember when I seen this content. It's been a while ago.
Glad.
So the first piece of it is just interest that we think about. And let's pretend that you're in a bar or something. What we're trying to avoid in this stage is I have to go to the bathroom. I'm just bored of you. And so when we're talking about this is the playful stuff that we mentioned. It's a lot of the things with what do you do, where you're from, finding ways to be interesting. This isn't sexy necessarily. This isn't I want to hook up with you. It's just I want this interaction to continue. The second piece that I think a lot of guys skip out on is having genuine standards.
That shit is big, bro. That shit is huge. Niggas really do not have standards as far as, like, women are always looking to eliminate you, bro. Like, for any little thing, they're ready to get you the fuck out of here, dog. So why are you not doing the same thing? Is she not creeping you the fuck out? Is she not a good conversationalist? Is she not, like, just keeping you engaged, bro? Like, if she not doing any of that shit, dog, like, you have a right to take your ass to the bathroom. or I'll hit you later. Or let me get your number, and it just be some fun shit. Like some shit you chilling with. You ain't really taking too serious because it can't go past the bedroom maybe. But a nigga like me, you gotta have good conversation. You gotta be engaging. You gotta be fun. You gotta be quirky in a way for me to even take you to the up through there for real. So yeah, nigga standards is definitely way lower, and you have a right to eliminate these motherfuckers, man. Like if you ain't feeling it, you don't owe anybody any explanation as to why you stopped talking to them or why you're done with the situation. If you're done with it, you can be courteous and say, look, I'm just not feeling it no more. The chemistry is not really there like I thought it was. Women won't even tell you shit. They don't tell you nothing, nigga. You could go and smash on that first night or that second date, third date. They feel like another nigga can do it better, or the chemistry is better, or you did some off shit that just made them feel a little weird. Nigga, they done. No matter how much they liked you on the first link.
When you receive a letter from Harvard University that you've been accepted, it feels wonderful. When you receive a letter from the community college that takes 100% of the people, it doesn't feel good. And the truth about dating, like it or not, is that we often date people to affirm things about ourselves. So when you have no standards for this other person and they feel like they could have been anyone, like truly it was their shape that attracted you to them, it doesn't generate any sort of interest in you. But if you're indicating through interaction,
And you always know what they say. Niggas fuck anything. When they come down to like it's 2, 3 in the morning and it's winding down and niggas is picking and choosing, how they gonna go home. Whether it's worth it to just go solo or you came with a mission to crack you some shit. Women know that and they can see that. And it's a large majority of niggas who are thinking this way and intentionally just going out to smash on something instead of let me have a good time, let me be of substance, and if something else of substance is out there, let me grab that. And I don't want anything else below that. Like, let me grab what I actually want. They can tell when you grabbing at some shit that you actually don't want, bro. So at that point, they're like, yeah, nigga, you'll fuck anything, bro. You'll smash down on anything. Now, everybody's been in that situation where you just like, look, bro, I'm gonna just take this one for the team, bro. I'm gonna go ahead and just take this, get this off. But yeah, man, just have some standards about yourself at some point, please.
If you're out at a bar or a club and somebody is rude to a waiter or waitress or bartender, you go, oh my God, I can't stand people who do that. If I were, I don't care how beautiful or fun or sexy you are. Like when I see that kind of behavior, it's a total turnoff. Just as an aside in a conversation, that's communicating to the person that they care about my personality, right? And now the thing is, you want to have genuine standards. So this is easier for people who have dated and who have had, perhaps dated someone they were very attracted to, who had personality traits that they didn't really like. If you can go through your history and ask yourself, what are the things that really do attract me to people that are not sexuality or, shape-based things? What are the things that make me repulsed? And list those out and find ways to incorporate those into conversation. For instance, I have most enjoyed my relationships with women who were incredibly affectionate. So when someone early...
Facts. Because I'm telling you, majority of the time, it ain't even a pussy you really looking for. After you, especially if you a loner nigga like me, like I have plenty of friends and connections and shit like that. I've been running around Atlanta for over 10 years. So, and I have great people in my corner. But for the most part, bro, I'm dolo. Like I'm kicking it by myself. I'm learning. I'm teaching myself shit. I'm in my own hobbies that may or may not have people included. May or may not have other people involved or need other people to be involved. Like when I DJ and shit and I'm doing my own sets at the crib, ain't nobody here. When I'm shit, even photography, when I'm outside, I'm shooting what I want to shoot. Nobody's around me. So having a partner who knows how to fulfill something that you lack a lot of most of the time. And this has probably been throughout my entire career as a fucking human being. I was always social, but I was always a loner. So I like a partner who's affectionate, who understands that there are healthy ways of giving me affection outside of just sex. Now, it's great and it adds to the sex for sure. But I don't know. I don't know what the new niggas on the internet call it. Maybe that's simping or some shit. I don't believe that's simping. To actually want a partner that is affectionate and to be an affectionate partner to somebody. So I hope that's not the narrative that's going around, because that's kind of weird, I'm not gonna lie. Because most times what you actually are yearning for is the affection that you're getting. even if you midway stroking a motherfucker, like if that's why they like that missionary shit. Cause she can see you, she can hug you, she can be close to you, and if that's what you prefer too, that's probably why. Cause you want the affection and intimacy of another partner. That's the important part of sex, bro. Outside of the other pillars. So that I feel him on that. It's the same for me.
Interaction says, I'm a hugger. I go, oh my God, I'm going to love you. Like I'm the same way. I can't stand people that just want to like touch on the shoulder, say hello, or like high five every time. And that communicates to them that there are things that I am selecting for, and you actually are within that category. Now, it is crucial here this is not a strategy to fake, right? If you're just saying these things and really it's like, no, it's you just have the shape and the look. It's not.
Women can tell that too. Because that's why they stop. There's a period of time where they stop actually telling men what their ideal man was, because they can tell when a nigga's trying to slime his way through, trying to be a chameleon. Now, if you are a multifaceted nigga, your process of eliminating her will validate that you actually are a dynamic character. It's like, okay, well, yeah, I can do all of that shit. I can be all of that shit. But because I can be all of that shit, what the fuck are you doing? What are you bringing? So if you want a calm nigga, if you want a nigga that can turn up and work rooms, you want a nigga that can network, you want a professional nigga, you want a nigga that kind of move like he in the streets a little bit, or just paying attention to his surroundings and making sure you protect it. Niggas can do all of that shit. Niggas are dynamic. If you've lived very fulfilling, like just a fulfilling life, bro. It ain't got shit to do with money or anything like that. It's just more so yeah, motherfucker. My bad, let nigga. It's more so of I don't know, bro, like an engaging life, really. Like you're present most times. Like you're in your hobbies, you're with your family, you're with your friends. Like you're doing shit, you active, and not just active in the streets, but like you just active, bro. Like you're not still, you're not complacent. Like you just go get shit. You just out hunting for new levels to your life. So yeah, it's easier to kind of be a dynamic character in that way. But if you're not, they can tell.
Nearly as well. And it's also just not good for you. You're going to wind up in the relationship that sucks.
Facts.
And then the last piece is sexual tension. And I think this is the part that is probably most uncomfortable for a lot of guys, is being able to sit in a sexually tense scenario, which might be lingering on eye contact with someone, interaction with a smirk on your face. It might be dancing close without having to crack a joke.
Is this a thing? Maybe in the Caucasus Mountains community. I don't know. Hopefully not. I mean, I've seen some good content creators on that side too, for sure. Even what's dude's shit? One Man or one something. He's based out of UK though. But is this a thing? Like, I don't know, bro. Just for one, you should already know how to build sexual intensity anyway. Like you have to. The more you can control that, the more you can control the build up, the better the shit is for you. So you should be making her be the one blush, break eye contact, like feel some type of way. Because all that shit shooting to 2 areas. Drop a comment below if you know the 2 areas. But, you should be able to actually reach them 2 areas through her ears, through touch, through her skin, through smell. Like you should be able to fire all this shit off within her so that she the one reacting that way, not you.
Being able to manage that sexual tension while sometimes relieving it with that playful push-pull stuff is does not come natural to most people. They try to escape it as soon as they feel it, and therefore they're never
Sitting with that
building any sort of
discomfort's
intrigue.
hard.
Oh yeah, and it is tense. It's this in between stage of, do you like me? Do I like you? Are we going to kiss, or are we just looking into each other's eyes? And being able to hold that and enjoy that is something that we talk about. It takes some time to develop, but there are some things that you can do. So, for instance, most people, if they go on a date, say you match someone on Tinder or Hinge, they'll go to a bar, they'll sit down on opposite sides of a booth, talk about work, and then okay, at the end of the night, well, hope you had a good time, and there's been no sexual tension built. Versus if you go to the bar, you say, hey, let's sit over here. You sit at the bar. While you're communicating with them, you put your hand on their hand. When they make a joke, you say, I love that. You give them a hug. You hold their
Points of contact, man. For one, don't be sitting in no fucking bar on the first date. And if you are, I don't know, you just gotta be that type of nigga. Like, for one, I'm pulling in my booth, my seat. If you sitting here, my shit is, and I'm facing you the whole time. Eye contact on lock the whole time. I say go to a booth. Go to a booth. That way, I mean, you can kind of play with distance at that point. Like, damn, why you sitting all the way over there? Or you move closer. Or you could see just how comfortable she is depending on where she sit in the booth. If she's closer to you, further away, that could tell you how much work you kind of got to do. But I wouldn't go to a bar. I wouldn't go to the bar on the first. Well, I can, but I wouldn't recommend going to the bar on the first day. I'm sitting in a seat. I'm sitting either a chair very close to you, or we're in the booth. That way it's easier to break the points of contact throughout the date.
their arm while you're telling a story to demonstrate what somebody did. You are building this sort of this physical tension between the two of you that gets more and more comfortable and allows for those sort of close, is it happening, isn't it happening interactions. And you're not putting all the weight from going from 0 to 60 with the goodnight kiss at the doorstep, which feels awful and is just an amount of like discomfort that is not fun for anybody to experience.
Facts. You damn sure don't want to put all that weight on the end of the night, because she may be feeling you up until a certain point, and it's like, okay, well, it's enough for me to go home with this nigga, or for us to go back to my spot or a hotel, or you never know where you can meet people, bro. You can meet them at a convention, at a hotel. You can meet them at a networking event that's hosted in a hotel. So the access between public to private is just transitional. The transition is easy. So, yeah, man, you got to be able to drop them nuggets in between and let them know what type of timing you're on. This is for your safety, for real. This is how I see it. If I don't let them know up front what type of timing I'm on, at any point, depending on if I miss something, or I miscalculated or misjudged who this person is, they could fuck my life up. Like, they could really fuck your life up. Like, they could be playing you the whole time and get you up to a room or some shit, or you get them up to a room and, they wake up and not know what the fuck or how the fuck any of that happened. That some people are obsessive drinkers. And I've had a situation with a woman who drunk her ass off, bro. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. You can go ahead and lay down. I'm gonna go ahead and dip, man. Left my number and dip the fuck out, because ain't no fucking way. So if you don't make sure you're not on the same type of timing, yeah, it can get tricky, bro. Coercion, manipulation, all these things kind of intertwine and can intertwine. Um, seduction, like all of these things are very gray areas, kind of can blend into each other if you don't create boundaries. And that's what you're doing. You're being a nigga who creates boundaries, man. Always, always create boundaries up front as much as possible. What you like, what you don't like, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, and what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do. Like, keep that shit consistent throughout the entire relationship, even if y'all known each other for a minute.
Those are the sort of the buckets that I think about, at least when I'm talking about it. And what I try to ask guys specifically to do, because it's a different scenario with girls, is to think about where they are.
Get your water intake in, man.
Not going to the next level. And it's like, oh, they're just walking away from me as I start conversations. Like, okay, let's talk about being more interesting in conversation. Or I've never actually, I'm hitting on girls and I'm being fun and interesting, but they have a sense that I'm just a player and they don't want to talk to me. It's like, well, you've got no standards. And then, so going through those, using that as a diagnostic tool is something that we do.
I think guys are probably quite fearful about running out of stuff to say as well. Have you got strategies for small talk?
Yeah. So there's a couple of different videos in terms of women, specifically in flirting scenarios. This is the hardest things. My brain is like this, and you've seen in this interaction. I'm a logistical person. When you ask me a question, I want to answer it literally. The best thing for small talk is to recognize that, especially on a date or in a bar or club, they just want a vibe. You don't have to have topics. It's not about
not a fucking
family,
podcast.
Work. Yeah, it's a podcast. It's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be fun, playful world building. So,
bro, that shit is so important for a lot of reasons. It's not only a vibe too. Having the ability to be the vibe, but also be analytical and logical and very intentional about how you do shit is one thing, and I think women appreciate that, and people appreciate it in general. Because when you small talking, you can small talk with anybody. But it's also I was talking to a ex about this, because she hates small talk, but that's for a different reason. That's for a medical reason, but. You're building trust with a 100%, like, just a completely fucking stranger, bro. Like, I don't know you at all. So depending on how you even introduce yourself to me, how you engage with me, I don't know how well you can communicate. And based off how you communicate and how well you communicate, I can tell if you're how social you are, how you're around other people. Do you read? Like you could just tell a lot of shit about a person and their mentality and how they move based off of small talk. Like, how fast did you get me to trust you? Are you manipulative? Are you charismatic? Like, are you aggressive? Are you shy? Like, all of that shit, because you calibrate into the person that you're talking to. All of that you can learn within a 4 or 5 minute conversation with somebody. Are you having a shit day? Are you having a great day? Like, that's a lot, and for you to be able to speak to, not even to somebody, but through somebody, like, you're speaking to the shit that they're not saying. It's like, based off these small little tidbits you giving me and this little data you giving me, damn, I can tell you kind of having a bad day, or you lit as fuck in the club, like you trying to relieve stress, or you're the socialite in this motherfucker, and you're really good with people and working rooms, and then you can find out how they even became this person and engage even further and even deeper after getting through that small little exchange. So, yeah, small talk can tell you a lot about a person, man. And a lot of times, the creepy shit that can happen too. You could be saving your own life. Like, and I know women know this, because depending on how good you are with small talk and introduce yourself to them, they can tell if you just a off nigga, So you got to get better at this shit. And that just comes with practice and challenge and putting yourself out there. And being okay with people just not fucking with your style of communication.
You know, if she says, "Oh my God, like you went to Jamaica, I studied abroad there," be like, "Oh my God, fantastic! After this bar, we're going to the airport. We're going to get on a plane. We're going to go scuba dive. We'll be there tomorrow morning. We're going to have to fund this. So somehow, I don't know, I'm going to have to take up a job selling Lucy cigarettes on the street. Whatever. You're just like just this playful world building is a way that men tend not to instinctively communicate.
What do you mean by world building?
What I just created was almost an improvisational comedy scenario. Like, we're going to go here. Here's what's going to happen. Obviously, none of this is real. This is. I'm definitely not going to sell Lucy cigarettes to fund a plane ride for tomorrow. But when you can build these fake, fun, obviously not real fantasy scenarios that people participate in, and sometimes men do this with their good friends when they're all in a group of people. You know, that would be like if blah 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 blah. Oh my God! When you do that with women in fun ways, that tends to set the vibe to be this fun, flirty thing that she can contribute to. And say, well, we're not going to stay in the same room tonight. Be like, perfect. I'm going to get I'm going to have the penthouse, and you could sleep in, you know, the water closet or whatever. And then,
Bruh, facts, man. Who y'all think writing and reading most of the fantasy fucking books that you know about or may not even know about? Brother, mostly women. Like sci-fi, they're just these big creative worlds. They live in fairy tales, bro. So if you can create these small little scenarios off of just the back end of small talk, and I just met you, and you came quick with the shit, that says a lot about you. And if you can intertwine it and weave it into something we said previously or something I told you, bro, that shit is the highlight of their day. She could have talked to 5 different niggas around the club, and then she get to you and you do some shit like that. You won, bro. And I literally just did this shit yesterday. Joan told me she was leaving her convention or wherever she was coming from, but she needed to hop on the plane. She was getting ready to hop back on the plane. I'm like, all right, bet. I'm gonna talk to the pilot, make sure I let him know, like, hey, she need to get here safe, you know. And then I intertwine that shit into basically saying, I'm looking forward to seeing you, so much so that I'm gonna talk directly to the nigga who's responsible for getting you here, jokingly, of course. And we're gonna come to an agreement that, you know, instead of just saying, be safe, I'll see you soon, which you could say, but, you know, I just made a little quick story up about how I talked to the nigga responsible for doing that, and she enjoyed it. So, yeah, bro, you just gotta, but that requires that you actually, one, now people are different. You may be a very logical, engineer, brain type of person, but that's why you gotta challenge yourself to be on the other end and get a little bit more creative with your hobbies, storytelling, read a little bit more, you know, enjoy film and more creative shit to combat your ability to just be really sharp with your brain in other ways.
I want to sleep in the water closet. So these are the types of things that are ridiculous that most men would never think about doing in conversation, but that are genuinely fun once you try on this new style of conversing. Now, of course, there's still going to be time for what do you do, where are you from, what's your work, but especially in a bar nightclub scenario, which is I think what I'm tending towards more. If you lead with, here's my cool job, I work at Goldman Sachs, that's incredibly boring. I can't tell you the number of guys in New York I saw who started by handing out business cards. Instead,
and women hate being fucking bored. I'm telling you now, bro. They'll rather go with a nigga who will put their life in danger versus a nigga who would consistently bore the fuck out of them.
Doing this fun stuff first, and then they'll be like, who are you? Tell me about yourself. And then at that point,
the Goldman Sachs thing actually comes in as a pattern interrupt, and you're like, oh, holy fuck. Like, he's actually funny and interesting, and he's prepared to sell loose cigarettes, and he's got a job at an investment bank.
Yes, exactly. And the best way then when you're talking about, you know, okay, I work.
Very important to know your hooks. Know your hooks, bro. Like I know off rip, I'm already tall, I'm handsome, so that may come with some preconceived notions. All right, this nigga a player, or all right, this nigga rely on his looks or something like that. I don't know, but by the time you get done talking to me,
investment bank is to speak to your values. Again, people want to know your vibe and your values, not just the logistics of what you do. So if you say I work at Goldman Sachs, a much stronger way is to think, well, what drove me? Hopefully it's not just a sense of greed, but like, I grew up poor and I always wanted to be able to take care of my mom and family. So like, I don't want to be an investment banker for the rest of my life, but it's helping me to one day buy a house for my mom. Like that, if true, so attractive, so much more engaging than I'm a banker.
all right, we back. My bad, y'all. I had to fix my fucking mic. It went dead in the camera, but let me go back a little bit, make sure
They buy a house for my mom. Like that, if true, so attractive, so much more engaging than I'm a banker at Goldman Sachs.
Story building, man. Again, story building. Like that shit is so important. And like you said, building worlds too. Like stitching them stories together to create an overall build of who you are as a person. And also trying to figure out if she can do that too. If she can reciprocate that energy, and she'll know you just not for everybody and everything based off of what you asking. How you display yourself, and all the other factors that come in. All that shit is important, but that shit says a lot about you, bro. Like, but that also says how much you know yourself.
So if you're setting a vibe or sharing your values, those are two very strong modes of conversation to be in compared to just answering questions logistically, honestly.
Facts.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, man. I'm interested to find out what you think most men go wrong when approaching women, and if there's girls that are watching, they can put some of their nightmare scenarios down in the comments below as well.
Well, women have a very different understanding of this because when they think what goes wrong with men, they're selecting for the men that have approached them, right? And so they're going, oh, they were way too pushy, way too forward. They said this goofy thing. They did some nice guys stuff where they told me like they could be my boyfriend and I'd never have to go cold. The truth is most guys are not in that category. They're not walking up to you. They're thinking about it, but not doing it. Right. So that's by far.
That's 99.9%.
That's 99.9% is not engaging in conversation. So that's definitely the thing that most of them do wrong. Though when women think about what do most men do wrong, they're going to go to the horror stories of the 0.1%.
You got that small percentage like niggas like me who just simply do not fucking care, bro. Like it's so much to. Women can be a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. Women can definitely be a lot. And I understand why most people don't approach or just vouch to bow out. I understand it. I get it, but can't live with them, can't live without them, bro. And the longer you go trying to live without them, the harder it becomes to actually live with them at all. And it's not due to them. It's really due to you. It becomes harder for you to actually live with them because you don't understand them at that point because you've been out of it. You've been out of the game for however long. You seen when he first started, he said it was difficult to even speak on this subject because he's probably already locked in with somebody and he ain't seeing the shit that's going on out here right now. So, because he don't have to, but he's gotten to that point though. If you're not at that point to where you know you just you can choose to turn it on or not, then you need to be practicing, bro. Damn near every fucking day.
They just come in like complete arrogant asses. So yeah, it's disqualifying yourself before you've spoken to someone. And there's 100 different ways.
You can do that shit in business. You can do that shit in life. You can do hot shit. You can do this shit with this YouTube shit. But bro, I do not do this. It was weird as fuck talking to this camera with no other person to interact with for like their first 4 or 5 videos. And it's still slightly crazy as fuck to have you niggas in my bedroom and shit. But, you know, this is shit I want to do. What the fuck is that on? Oh, this is my computer. You know what? Yeah, I'm still. I know. I'm still learning shit, bro. But you can't disqualify yourself. Fuck no. You let life disqualify you. You let other things disqualify you. After you've tried every fucking thing that you possibly could, and then that no or that disqualification is simply like a lesson in disguise for real. Because now you know how to come back even harder and do shit even better. So, nah, you never disqualify yourself. We ain't on that.
To speak to someone, mentalities that can help, but
These people human.
Going in with a
Just
vibe
like
of curiosity, and again, flirt with the world. I think one of the things that men do wrong is that they try to be these snipers, which is like these boring people who walk through life not talking to anyone, not engaging with the cashier, and then they're going to see the most beautiful woman at the bar who is surrounded by people who want to speak to her, and they're going to go, now I'm going to turn it on.
Yeah, by the power of Grayskull, they decide to pick up the fucking sword. Right, this.
Hey, that's actually a good ass observation, bro. Because what we call snipers are people who are actually great socially, with socializing and being good conversationalists and emotionally intelligent enough to even do this shit. But yeah, snipers really don't engage with a lot of outside things other than the mission to eliminate somebody, you know, or be the support for their troops on the ground. But you really be solo. So I don't know, maybe we need to choose another word. But I think it's I don't know where sniper came from. I think it probably came in a dating sense. I think it probably came from niggas that are so engaged with their own life and get into their bag and growing themselves as people that women aren't really the focus. So they're not ground level with, they're not on the ground like a troop or like front lines. Like they're not front line with it. Because that ain't their focus, is that ain't the war that they focusing on. But when it's time to eliminate some shit, when it's time to take some shit down, you know, they ready.
It's time to turn it on.
It's time to do it. Yeah, and then they Hulk out and just do it. That's not how it's ever been with me. I haven't seen it done that way. It's by flirting with the world. It's by recognizing that the person that you should flirt with is the next person you interact with, and whether that's someone in your apartment building as you're taking the elevator who is an older gentleman, like being that outgoing, fun, friendly person, setting a vibe, goofing off, and then just happening to be near the person that you're interested in is going to be much, much more powerful, because it's not something that you've got to like gear up for. It's something that is going to be habituated into the way that you're used to speaking with people. It won't feel like such a stretch.
What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full unedited episode, and don't forget to subscribe. Peace.
Man, shit is fire, bro. I'm not gonna lie. His content is always dope as fuck, and I like seeing his shit. But that was 100% facts, bro. Like you have to talk to. It's easier to transition to somebody you want when you're already in the energy that you need to be in. Like if you go into a mall or a football game or you at the club or some shit, and you that energy that the club needed because everybody else just kind of standing on the wall. Like it's easier to go up, talk to somebody that you would deem unapproachable, which would probably be nobody. But it's easier to do when you already kind of flowing. You don't talk to 40, 50 people already. By the time you woke up to the time you got to the club, you've already talked to everybody you done talked to. Had great conversation too. It wasn't no like high and by type shit. It was like you were actually an engaging person to be around. And this is data for you to feed into yourself too. Like as you're doing that, you're figuring out what work and what don't work. And if it don't work for most people, it probably ain't gonna work for her, bro. No matter if you see her at a club or no matter what you put on, how good you smell, how good you think you look. If that mouthpiece ain't there, bro, it don't matter. So appreciate y'all, man. My bad for the mic situation. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm still figuring this shit out. Dev DTB, go subscribe to my brother channel. 1v1 upload challenge. I'm on his ass about getting this content out. I'm not an in front of the camera ass nigga. Although I do have a podcast. But I still don't consider that front of the camera ass type of behavior because I'm focusing on the guest for real, not myself. But you know, I told him he gotta match me. He gotta match each video I upload. He gotta upload one. So y'all get on his ass in his comment section. And I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Oh, feedback too. Let me know how I can make these shits better. If my room need to be cleaner or some shit, or you don't want to see a plant or fucking whatever. I'm talking too loud or too low, or yeah, if something off, just let me know. Catch y'all in the next.